What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You're a returning subscriber as always, guys. Welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, we got an update on a story I've been talking about that happened out there in Memphis, Tennessee. Shout out Memphis, in which a guy went down to the 201 Poplar, the Courthouse, with a gun, live streaming it on Instagram or Facebook, wherever he live streamed it at. And police were looking for him. Come to find out, last night, he turned himself in. This is the guy that they said is the one that's identified in doing this crazy crime. Dedrick Patterson, 23 years old. Supposedly this guy was in a wheelchair and snuck the gun in, I guess because he wasn't properly checked with handicap protocol through the metal detectors, where he went upstairs in a bathroom, I guess, and was fronting with this gun. But either way, this guy turned himself in. Here's the story. This is what they know so far. Take a look at it, and we'll come back with commentary.
Tonight with a breaking news update. A 23-year-old has been charged, accused of bringing a gun into the Shelby County Criminal Justice Center, somehow smuggling that weapon in while he was in a wheelchair. Hi there, thanks for being with us. I'm Shay Arthur. Investigators say Dedrick Patterson turned himself in early this morning after a video of him with a gun inside the CJC has been making the rounds on social media this week. WRG's Raven Copeland has been following the case since that video initially came to light. And Raven, despite the arrest, still so many questions, even investigators asking, how did this happen?
Yeah, that's right, Shay. Chief Deputy Anthony Buckner says this investigation is far from over. And one of the biggest questions is, how could a weapon bypass security at the Shelby County Criminal Justice Center? Now, the Sheriff's Office says they've met with the security vendor for the CJC, and they plan to have other meetings in the future to determine how exactly this happened. Now, today, we also learned more about the suspect, 23-year-old Dedrick Patterson. Sheriff's deputies say detectives and the community were able to identify the suspect on Friday evening, which then resulted in the execution of an arrest warrant and search warrant. Law enforcement searched a home on the 3000 block of Bannock Barn Road and found evidence associated with the gun incident at the CJC. A little after midnight, deputies say Patterson turned himself in at 201 Poplar, but he refused to answer any questions. Now, as the investigation continues, Chief Deputy Buckner says safety and security measures are top of mind.
How do we prevent this from happening again? Obviously, we know this individual presented himself at the security checkpoint inside of a wheelchair. And how we scrutinize individuals in a wheelchair is going to be conversations that we're going to have next week and the weeks to come.
Now, the Shelby County Sheriff's Office says there is a chance there could be more charges for other individuals who are involved. Now, tonight, Patterson faces several charges that includes carrying weapons during judicial proceedings. Again, this remains an active investigation, so there are several questions that remain unanswered. Back to you, Shay.
Yeah, and Raven, some strong words there from the chief deputy, but tonight, do we know if he's actually wheelchair bound in the first place?
Yeah, Shay, that's one of the biggest questions. Now, Chief Deputy Buckner says right now at this time, the suspect is refusing to answer any questions, so they're unable to 100% confirm whether or not he is wheelchair bound. And they have said if he does have a medical condition, that information will not be publicly released. Reporting live from the Shelby County Sheriff's Office Training Academy for your news leader, Raven Copeland, WREG News Channel 3.
Hey guys, you seen it? I turned himself in last night. Dumb as hell. Makes no sense. You in a wheelchair, supposedly, and trying to be in the street. I remember when Boys in the Hood came out and they were showing some of the gang members up there, and one of the dudes in the wheelchair. And he had a gun when they were shooting, and he's shooting with in the wheelchair. I'm like, yo, they can instantly run and turn and jump off. Or you can't even do that. Why would you even be out there? Makes no sense. You can take people out the street, but you can't take the street out the people. Now, this guy's 23 years old, right? That's a rough looking 23. What you think about that? Now, you can put yourself in a position, you was already at a disadvantage with your handicap, But you want to sit around here and act like nothing is wrong with you on a level of being out there in the street. Now you in a wheelchair, turning yourself in jail. And speaking of wheelchair, they're saying they don't even know if he really needed the wheelchair. So that made me think, maybe he did it, for clout, or he used somebody's wheelchair and planned to go in there and act crazy in the courtroom so he could probably make TV. Either way, it costs you big. Because I'm going to tell you what's happening. You in a city that has a high violence level with gun violence, then you choose to go in there to a place where the people that do crimes with gun violence go, and then thumb your nose up at those that are sitting up there supposedly administering justice. There are judges in there, lawyers, prosecutors, and this is the place you go to play games. No matter who you go in front of, they all going to take that seriously, and they are going to throw the book at you. Now, they gave him light charges, right? But I guarantee you, when he get in there trying to get out of that, it's going to be hard to, I don't even think there's going to be an option. I'm going to tell you something. When people do stuff like this that's really defiant, I would give them no deals, no bond, no nothing. You have to go in front of the courtroom, and if you got a legal representation, explain to the court why you did what you did. See, that's the thing. Even in the justice system nowadays, people are not really held accountable. They can decide whether they don't want to go to court. Hear what they said? They asked him questions. He refused to answer the questions. Motherfucker, you did that shit. You need to say something. You're a grown man. That made a grown man decision, a responsible decision, even though it was some irresponsible, stupid shit. You need to be held accountable for that. And I'm not just talking about the act of what he did, just the fact that you're a man that decided to do something, stand on it. I think they coddle criminals a lot of times, or people that do crimes, and it's like the justice system's a fucking joke. And that's proof of it right there. He brought a gun in there, in the wheelchair, don't know if he need the wheelchair or not, and in the act of defiance, did that bullshit up there in the hallway of the court. I guess a bathroom. Sick. It just shows the mindset and how just chiseled away people are now with thinking what's ethically right and wrong. He's 23 years old. When I was 23 years old, I had 2 children. I was married, and I knew better than to do some dumb shit like that. It's like now, for some odd reason, people that are older, that have cut their teeth in life, are being told now, oh, well, don't look into the consideration. He's only this age. That man been a full-fledged adult for 2 years, 21 years old. What the fuck was he doing with himself? What was he doing with himself? To where he thought that was a good idea. And that's the thing. I don't know Mr. Patterson. You know what I'm saying? Might be a cool person. But he did some dumbass shit, and he put out bad vibes to make it look like he was some type of killer or something like that, and giving off this, helping push this stereotype and all this other stuff that affect us as people. I got a problem with that. And that's the thing. I would show him no leniency, man. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. There's an honest mistake, and there's willful error. This dude did this because he wanted attention. Congratulations, you got it. Hope it was worth it. See you in the next video. Take care.